Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again for another One Piece chapter review, chapter 1159, The Island of Fate. This chapter basically is following the events of last week's chapter in which we see the life at Shaki's bar, customers come in there, Roger kind of being petty that Rayleigh seems to have Shaki's affections, but chooses to do nothing, but goes to visit her anyway, and we end up seeing his rivalry with Rox there, but we also see that Rox is no longer infatuated with Shaki, as it seems he's found someone else. Meanwhile, Garland has apparently found an island that would found the island God Valley that would has something that greatly interests Emu, and also seems to have had his twin sons there with a mysterious woman. While also at the same time, King Harold and Rox break off their friendship after a bit of a fight and the sort of ideological differences. How will this chapter fall out? Let's see what we see. Let's see, finally get to see God Valley. Well, let's see, you just have to find out as I summarize and review the chapter. But before we get to the actual chapter itself, we've got the Yamato cover story, the Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest, Sir Great Pilgrimage, Volume 41. It's time to munch on apples and return to the Pharaoh capital, as we basically see Yamato with Uti and Page 1 eating sort of like apples. Let's see, Yamato holding, the weapon he's got. Let's see, while enjoying an apple, while Uti seemingly has found a way to eat apples with her mask on and all that stuff, while Page 1 just watches in the background while we've got the little dog fella. I've forgotten his name, sorry. Let's see, that changed into that guy that stole one of Zoro's swords. Let's see, seemingly munching and walking along. It seems like Yamato's finally heading back to Pharaoh capital, so that probably means that this cover story will probably end soon. If I have to guess, Oda might keep it going for at least a couple of more, although I have the feeling that it'll probably last until the 50th part. Who knows? It seems Oda's going a long time with this cover story, but yeah, it's a nice one that's gone around. Granted, it had some, shocking revelations, such as Gecko Moria actually being Kazuki Moria. And we end up seeing what happened to some of the beast pirates, such as Page 1 and Uti, now becoming Yamato's, subordinates. And that Who's Who was trying to build his own sort of criminal empire, if you will, from the remains. But yeah. But anyway, on to the actual chapter itself, in which we begin on the island of course, let me just find the image. Oh yeah. Hachinosu, where 39 years ago, where everyone panicking and saying, did you look everywhere? In which we end up seeing, let me just find it. Wait, no. Oh yeah, we see we end up seeing that Don Marlowe has been Don Marlowe has been killed, who was apparently on security team, and thinking that the unthinkable happened, as it's revealed that Shaki has been kidnapped, while which shocks everyone, including Rox and Whitebeard himself, as the narration goes over. Crime happened within a window of just a few hours, in which from the next page we see Gloriosa crying in despair, arguably because this was her former first mate and arguably close friend, even though she's sometimes jealous that, Roger had affections for her, but she's crying. But we also see Wang Ji, or I think it's Wang Ji. Yep, I believe. Being all smiling, greedy, counting dollar bills, implying that he's basically the one that killed Don Marlowe and kidnapped Shaki and sold her for a bit of profit. So yeah, we see basically him being like a traitor to the Rox pirates, if you will, and arguably ultimately leading its downfall. Well, also, it's not also just Shaki that Gloriosa that we see crying. We also see a bunch of, let me see if I can find the image, a bunch of regular pirates here, tears and despair as their idol has been, basically taken away. Let's see, as they wail and gush in teeth and anger, crying, "Please be safe." And then we end up seeing, let me just find it. Wish I could put these in order, but oh well. Yep, we end up seeing Roger here going, cursing Rock, saying like, "How are you doing? How did you let this happen? I'll tear you to pieces." As the news swifts across the sea, where we end up seeing a, whoops, not that one. Hold on. Let's see, Rayleigh for the first time showing concern that Shaki has been kidnapped, as we see that the newspaper of see Shaki being captured has happened, spread worldwide, and apparently that people were so depressed that smiles vanished from the face of all the crestfallen people, and apparently some people were in such despair that apparently that all the economic activity around the world was stagnant for weeks. So Shaki was this beautiful, and the loss of her and the fact that she went missing caused so much chaos that the economy, basically, the world economy collapsed, which is unheard of, really. I don't think even Boa Hancock being missing would do something like that. But anyway, we now cut to like God Valley 1 year later, where let's see, we see that Garling has returned to Shanks's mother. Let me just find the image. I asked Shanks's mother here and believed that she would come back, and ends up introducing, let's see, Garling to basically his twin boys, if you will, who he is surprised that they are. Where you see apparently Shanks is the one grabbing out the hand there, and Shamrock is the one doing both, maybe sort of symbolizing that Shanks would eventually lose his arm and all that stuff. And he's a bit surprised that they had twins. It says, "You can now live here with us together," with Garling saying, if they're living anyway, it won't be here, saying that this island will cease to exist soon, much to a surprise. And revealed that he's already ordered a wife befitting of him if he can win the sort of competition, as you see Marine ships arrive. And she's confused by the whole competition, as then we see in the next panel, Garling basically stabs and kills her, despite the fact that in front of his own two baby sons, the mother of his children, as they're crying as a result of this. As Garling declares to make the preparations, as Marines disembark, you see a bunch of citizens going like, "The world government ships are here," wondering what's going on, why they surrounded the island, wondering who the criminal is, to try to get children hard indoors, as the Marines end up being ordered to use tranquilizers to apprehend the people who do not resist. And during this bit of chaos we see here, as the Marines are making their actions, we basically see this this one Marine here, questioning the Lieutenant Commander, saying what the purpose of this operation is, as Marine says it's training, and let's see, you're in no position to ask questions, but he says, "Yes, sir." With the platoon, with the sort of commander asking the platoon leader what this guy's problem is, saying which he tries to apologize, saying that he's young and he'd say give him a talk to later. You get citizens being concerned what's going on, except they're being shot down and knocked out by tranquilizers. Let's see, a mother and her child is holding her two children. One of them, which I think many people thought looked like Gecko Moria, which is making some theories that Gecko Moria might have been on God Valley, or came from God Valley, and that's that part, and had Philip Rock as part of the island, if you will. Let's see. As citizens are running for realizing that all are being arrested. Let's see. Dragon ends up, the young Marine ends up saying, after damn, I spored, asks what's going on? They're just normal civilians. But the Marine says, stop thinking individual thoughts, saying that distract from the common goal that they're trying to do here, and focus on completing the mission. As we end up seeing a full introduction that this young Marine is none other than Monkey D. Dragon when he was in the time of the Marines, and many people theorized was actually on God Valley, which began his path, if you will. He's just thinking to himself that since they're tranquilizers, he's not really killing anyone, and you get the description of Navy sailor Monkey D. Dragon, future Revolutionary Army commander, and father and Luffy. He apologizing, saying if you allow him to arrest you, you won't have to shoot. But citizens fight back, planning to leave the island, but he shoots them. And then Dragon ends up hearing the orders about putting on tear gas, which seems to shock him. But then we end up cutting to this Black Marine ship, which I will admit some people thought that this might have been, the black ship that the world government has with the man marked by flames. But no, this seems to be a standard Navy prison ship, which seems to be a bit different than what we've seen from most Navy ships. But yeah. As you got, a Marine patrolling, but they're hearing communication issues, and it's revealed that it's none other than, of course, the young Ginny and Ivanka, where they're basically, doing their plan of getting, leaking out where they are heading to God Valley about the great hunting game in order to do their plan to escape. With her... Ivanka checking that Ginny's all right, with her saying the plan at work and saying the intel agent should come out later. You got a bunch of slaves telling the kids to not cause a thing, saying that they'll get punished, with Ivanka pointing out that they're all going to die if you don't, try to learn what's going on the ship. And saying, and even if you don't struggle to survive, what makes you think you'll be lucky to make it out? So with him doing his don't play game with miracles, with Ginny trying to restrain him, with you got guards saying to restrain the prisoners, where we see a young Kuma saying he didn't know that slaves could be so feisty. I don't know if he's in the same room as Ivankov, but I assume he's probably in another one because, given the fact that in Kuma's flashback he only meets Ivankov during the actual island of God Valley. Anyway, it turns out that the agent is none other than a young Big News Morgans, who is basically trying to get trying to bribe Cypherpol agents about how about how he's trying to play for them, saying trying, if you pay me now, he won't spread this intel since it's a huge scoop. But the Cypherpol agent's what does some kid in the local paper with a fancy name get intel with a network like that? Warning that they'll snuff him out. But he goes just try it either way, but thinking to himself, either way, he's linking to this information. As we get the introduction of Big Morgan's president of the World Economic Journal. Basically, this is him when he's 15 years old, and basically he's trying to got the intel from Ginny and Ivankov and sort of using it to bribe the Cypherpol agent, saying, pay me up if you don't want me to spread the intel, but he's going to do it anyway. Anyway, with this happening, we end up seeing the Rocks, the intel spreading with the Rocks pirates realizing that Shaki's still alive. I wonder where she is, and apparently they learn that it's God Valley, with Wang Zi trying to prevent anyone from finding out that it should go there. Probably because Shaki already probably knows that it was him that sold them out. So if they rescue her, she'll tell them that Wang Zi betrayed them, and as a result, Wang Zi is screwed because they would all try and kill her, basically. So, But you've got Cersei talking about how the Navy's been taking action, so it seems solid. And you see Gloriosa happy to learn that probably her former first mate is alive, if you will. And then you've got Long Captain John saying how this person's how she's apparently a prize in the sort of in some sort of Celestial Dragons game. Let's see, as one of the other pirates says, whoever means kidnapped her was with the government, cursing them, and not realizing that it's Wang Zi. And let's see, Shiki has the funniest reaction, going like, Shaki! With Whitewood declaring that it's the Celestial Dragon's manhunt, thinking that it was just a tall tale or just rumors, but it seems like, okay, this confirms it. And during this time, let me just see, during this conversation, you have Big Mom and Kaido talking about how there are devil fruits too, and asking like, Kaido, you wanted one, right? And I'm wondering what their powers could be, with Big Mom thinking this could be good for my kids as well, as I think one of them is on the shoulder, but I can't tell who. With Big Mom's oldest crewmate, I think was it Stusen, saying, "Are you sure it's not a trap?" With Rox declaring them to like just be quiet, or telling him to shut up, as he declares, "If you're not committed, stay here. The rest of us are going to Guard Valley," which I assume Wang Zi's probably staying here, just probably preparing to see what to do if he gets exposed, and perhaps maybe having an escape plan or something. But yeah, the Ox Pirates are going to Guard Valley, but Roger has also, let's see, let me just find it. Here we go. With Roger, we cut to the Roger Pirate, where he's asking where Gaban, where's Guard Valley is, saying not close, but make sure we're in time. With Roger saying, "We're going, right, boys?" And we get Rayleigh Fritzy for the first time passionate about Shaki, going like, "No questions," all excited to go and rescue Shaki, as we then see let's see this panel here, of Roger declaring how, I've gone back a bit. Damn, it was the other side. Silly me. Roger's saying, so Rox is on the move, saying that we won't let him get the jump. And so the narration goes how it took the tiny bit of classified intel to set off all these fierce warriors to sea. And apparently we have, let's see, the same panel of Garp reacting to when he was told that Roger was going there, was saying, go with that next time. And apparently, from what I'm being told, Oda did not reuse the original panel. Instead, he redrew it himself. So props to Oda for like his commitment to like drawing every panel, if you will. So we got that. But as all the players are heading out, we end let's see, this giant ship with like I'm wondering like who it is, with some saying, who cares, sink them, with like Rox telling them not to do so, with wondering like why you just not why you're slowing us down. And it turns out it's none other than, of course, King Harold here with an army of his giant forces, where he is told that he was told to start up a certain pirate crew that was infiltrated with a single woman. Well, let's see, my mistake. Infatuated with a single woman. Turns out it was, like, of course, Rock's crew. And saying that if they make use of our strength, it would be child's play to sink their ship. And warns them that there's a government boat in the distance that's monitoring their activities. So basically, it's like, you're making sure that he does sink the boat. And then we end up seeing Rox with like, of course, the future Yonko saying, and you think this is your winning point to the world government, saying not to underestimate them. Let's see, calling him sort of like the king of giants and oath, I think. Or calling giants oaths, and saying that, let's see, asking if it pleases him to serve the government and all that stuff as we destroy each other. Just comments about, okay, so you're just a madman who wants to change our birth no matter once, but decides that, how about we talk in private? And this is where, whoops, wrong side. Rox and him have Rox and Howard have basically a bit of a drink, and talking about, are you sure you heard where we're going? But he's deciding he's only going to tell him this part since not even his own crew knows. And the giant pirates are confused about what he is talking about. And the Rox pirates are basically impatient, particularly Axe and Shiki, saying that their beloved Shaki is waiting to be rescued. And Rox reveals that he has actually got a hidden name, and his real name is actually Davy D. Sebek, with which confuses Rox, with saying that it's not, it's not Rox, with him revealing that it's the name of a clan that I suspect the world government has long tried to cover up, revealing that they're actually descendants of the legendary pirate Davy D. Jones, and it's saying that they took root in the criminal underworld and continue to eke out a living even today. So they basically survived by going there. And Rox feels that revealed that due to evil timing 2 years ago, he had a kid, and to make sure that the danger wouldn't befall them, he sent his wife and child to his homeland and to seek the Davy clan out for help. And Howard goes so your wife and kin are there in your homeland, but wondering why you're trying to tell me this weakness. And Rox reveals that it's none other than God Valley that is home. So basically, he's doing this mission not to save Shaki, but to save his wife and son. Let's see if Howard wondering if this was lured as a trap, but Rox saying that the Celestial Dragons are covering up this island, saying that they don't really want him coming there, and thinks that's a miscalculation on their part, and feels that although as if some great act of fate is either pulling the strings to him, and he's wondering that, saying that kidnapping Shaki was their mistake, saying as long as his wife and child escapes, he doesn't care about the rest. But he goes whichever side fortune is on, it doesn't feel like it's his, so he's asking Hal to lend him his aid. But Hal, of course, refused, and he will sink the ship, with Rox being mad that his choice, but there's a two prepare to fight, as Hal says, don't attack him, surprising the giants, and basically they once again sort of here we go. Once again, clash, causing an explosion of the ship as Rox calls Hal the soft cow. As the narration goes, though it's hard to believe, once every 3 years, the Celestial Dragons choose an island rich of resources, unaffiliated with the world government, and carry out a manhunt game that slaughters the natives. And you see a bunch of the civilians sort of crying, thinking that this is a nightmare, as we see a sort of great hunt, if you will, and we see the announcer just talking about it. We also see a bit of a run with Older, as this was originally 6 boxes, now it's 9. But yeah, and saying in addition to the rare exotic devil fruits that they have as grand prize for the for the event, they talk about the hailing from Amazon Lily is none other than the former pirate empress, regarded as the most beautiful woman in the world, saying that her name is Sharioka, saying that you can either take her as a wife or make her a slave, saying the decision is yours. We've got a bunch of members of it wanting to be, they want her as a wife, going how beautiful she is. As the narration says, she was kept in prison, it's in pristine condition after being caught, saying a truly elite prize. With one member of the say they want Shepard to bring it, Summers to bring him in. And we end up seeing the fact that Shirako is in this sort of beautiful white dress with the Amazon markings, shown to be taken care of. And this is where we end up seeing also the, hold on, let me find it. Wait, I've run back. Let's see, God's Knights, particularly two which we are familiar with in the current timeline of Elbaf, with Summers saying that he actually just wants to make her slave. Garland says that no, this woman is going to be my wife, so telling him stop dreaming. And then we see this Marimar from the last God flashback saying with Gunko here, we might be able to win a trophy for the family, competition, as we see Gunko with longer hair and a more military uniform about to as they're about to do the competition, and then we see basically a let's see, the young marine dragon finds Shanks' mother as she pleads with him to get our children off the island, and saying that don't let him have them, which referring, of course, to Garland. And then we see a little let me find it. A young baby Teach with his mother, face not shown, as she says, "Come here, Teach. It's all right. You're saying that you'll have to live through this." As the announcer says, lastly, every world noble is aware of them, in addition to the Buccaneer boy serving as a super rare rabbit. And in this contest, we have another target who's been found at long last after 800 years, the Davy clan, announcing the chapter. Ending the chapter with this announcement as the world nobles begin their disgusting hunt. So yeah, that is basically the chapter. And a few comments. Time for my overall thoughts. Okay, first of all, I do like how the chapter basically begins with what we suspected for the last few chapters, is that Shaki has been captured. And you end up seeing basically, the pirates despair reactions to it. What really surprised me is the fact that apparently the world economy, was basically, halted for a few bit, because apparently Shaki was that beautiful. It's really going for that Helen of Troy tragedy of like this beautiful queen taken and all that stuff, and that led to like a massive war kind of thing. Now, granted, I doubt you ever see the economy closing down for something like that in real life. Nor do I think if something happened to Bora Hancock, the same would be happening. Same thing would happen with her, but let's see, who knows? Then again, Hancock is regarded as the most beautiful woman in the world besides the Mermaid Princess. But I think one probably thing that goes in Shaki's favor is that she seems a lot more popular than Bora Hancock, arguably due to the fact that Bora Hancock probably hated men, so that might have been a bit of a put off for some people, but who knows? But yeah. But anyway, what surprised me is the fact that Don Marlin is being killed, which I suppose on one hand makes some sense because we never actually saw Don Marlin in the previous God Valley flashback in Kuma's section. So, yeah. We've got a comment from Power299 saying, "Correct me if I'm wrong," which I saw it, but I did an older just retcon in his own story and just say that there was actually 9 devil fruits instead of 6. If that's the case, that's hilarious. Correct me if I'm wrong, which we saw it, but did Older just retcon his own story and just say that actually 9 devil fruits instead of 6, which is the case if that's the case, hilarious. Yes, it seems that Oda has retconned the fact that originally when we saw Kuma's flashback, there was only 6, but instead he's added 9. My guess is that Oda's when finally decided to write this sort of God Valley flashback, he'd realized that, okay, you know what? Actually, I need to actually have 9 devil fruits. It seems like he had some last-minute changes to decide that, you know what? We need more devil fruits for, like, whatever is going to happen in the story and, like, what will be taken from here. I don't know what his reasoning is, but I guess we'll have to find out what those devil fruits are. I mean, granted, I have seen some people theorize that Dragon's devil fruit might be among them. Maybe Katakuri's or one of the Charlotte families, though if I had to guess, that would probably be maybe Puddin's memory Fritzy sort of fruit, because that one has a very significant role. Let's see. And also, let's see, that fruit seems to be I know some theorize to be what erased the world's memories of the 14th century, but I could be wrong on that. But might be why she valued that devil fruit. The only other thing I know is that, well, besides Kylos and Pumas, let's see, some theorize the Yami Yami might be there, maybe some other, let's see, well-known devil fruits that we are aware of. Let's see, but I don't know. But nevertheless, the fact that Oda decided to do 9 boxes probably means that we're going to get a lot more. We're going to probably get a lot bit more importance of these devil fruits. So yeah. Anyway, back to my where was I? Oh yes, Don Marlow's death. So let's see. Going back to that. So yeah. Don Marlowe, will admit, I don't think anyone, I didn't really expect him to die, but like I said, made sense since he was basically one of the characters in the previous flashback, so he was like a new character introduced. Let's see. So, but yeah, I suppose it goes to show you that, yeah, the Rocks Pirates did have at least one of their top members heavily guard the thing, but he ended up being killed and probably forgotten by history, if you will. Kind of like his Captain Rocks. I thought it was a bit surprising because I thought after Rocks' death, this guy would go back to, I think West Blue. I think where Bon. Let's see, Bon Caban. Let's see, where the mafia dude from like the Worst Generation. I can't remember his name at the moment. Let's see, I'm terrible right now, but yeah. But he'll be the one that starts like all the mafia families in the West Blue. Where Caban Page, was it? I don't know. I'm going to actually quickly search this up. Caban. Oh yeah, Beige. Let's see, my mistake, Beige. So yeah, I thought, let's see, he'd be one of those mafia that be like what inspires, Beige, but no, turns out he's dead. But nevertheless, you probably still got like the origins of mafia from guys like him. But yeah, he's basically dead. And it is interesting that we learn that it's none other than Wang Zi, which, okay, first off, props to Gloriosa again for like showing concern for a former first mate. But yeah, but it turns out it was Wang Zi that ended up double-crossing the Rocks Pirates, killing one of their crewmates, which, to be fair, they were not famous for doing so, and or infamous, and killing him and then stealing Shaki, which clearly he seems to have done it for a nice profit, which seems to imply that Garland hired him or something. But yeah, but it's interesting to note that, let's see, the future owner of Pirate Island got so because he betrayed Rocks and caused the events that led to Rocks' death. So in many ways, it's sort of like poetic irony, if you will, or poetic justice that basically years down the line with Blackbeard along with Law and Kobe caused the Rocky Port incident in which Blackbeard, takes the island for himself, but seemingly also avenged his father from betrayal from one of his crewmates. So yeah, sort of poetic irony of that. Granted, we have to wait and see if what was his name? Let's see. I've forgotten that. Supernova. Let's see. I'm not good with names today. I am not good with names. I apologize. I'm trying to remember. So let me just Supernova, One Piece, Super Wacky. Oh yeah, Karibo. Who knows? Let's see. If Wang Xi is Karibo's dad, who knows? Then perhaps let's see. Karibo can get some revenge on some other means of things. So, but yeah, basically you've got confirmation there. I do like how we actually see Rayleigh, let's see, finally starting to show some concern and then motivation down the line to actually go and get Shaki. Probably finally admitting that he does actually like her. So let's see, we've got a rescue minute for Rayleigh here, so that's nice to see. Let's see. Roger, let's see, at the moment, he's still being, I suppose you could say, being more like dumb Luffy-like, of just like, we're going mad at Rocks for letting Shaki get captured and go like, we're going to save her. Granted, having like sort of catalyst of his involvement to rescue Shaki, but also probably getting to God, let's see, Rocks' way, not realizing what Rocks is actually there for, which I think if perhaps Roger found out, let's see, he would not have gone in like Rocks' way. But who knows, we'll have to see how the actual God Valley fight takes place. But yeah, we've got that. Other than that, what else is there? No, oh yeah. Let's see, I do like how let's see, but I'm pretty certain let's see, Roger will get his moment to shine soon. After all, he becomes the top dog afterwards. We end up getting reunited with seeing Shanks' family briefly reunite, and the fact that the mother thought that they were going to have like a happily live together and stuff, but Garland has basically replaced her with a more beautiful woman he's declared to be his wife, and it's of course killed her. But arguably, this is one of the most evil and despicable things that we've ever seen a character do in One Piece. Maybe not on the scale of mass genocide, which, to be fair, Garland will be responsible for as well with this Grand Hunting thing. But the fact that this is the first character we have ever seen to kill the woman that bared their own children. I mean, we do know that Doflamingo killed his own father after leaving him in the situation that they were in and hoping an attempt to try and regain favor with the Celestial Dragons. But we don't think we've ever seen... Let's see, someone kill the mother of the child, which arguably, this is arguably one nitpick criticism is the fact that, we don't actually get to see Shanks' mother's face, which is a shame because, she's now sort of dead, if you will, or at least dying. But yeah, but it is interesting to note that Gar Erling has decided to take, the twins and wants them to be become future holy knights, if you will, but, or God's Knights, if you will, but funny enough, they're not full-on pure Celestial Dragons, so I'm not sure if that's a common thing that world nobles do, pick children that they favor to become world nobles, or just toss them aside and stuff. And as regard, I'm assuming Oda will probably make this a bit more clear down the line. So, but hopefully we'll find that pretty soon. Anyway, but yeah, Garland has basically become the most, one of the most evil people that we have ever seen. And I would honestly be it either Shanks or Dragon that takes him down. It'll be very satisfying in terms of endgame, but who knows? Maybe both of them will take him down. So we'll have to wait and see there. But anyway, besides the fact that you've got Shamrock being an absolute scumbag. We actually finally get to see the young Navy Monkey D Dragon, and just like I kind of hoped, or at least predicted that Dragon would actually be there on God Valley, and it's the horrors that he witnesses there that the world nobles do that results in him turning against the world government and leaving the Marines, and they're trying to fight them in order to build, a better world, if you will. So, it's nice to see that he's a young, ideal soldier who believes in justice and all that stuff, but saw the cruelty and the evil that the world government would do and the Navy would do under the Celestial Dragons. Questions that gets reprinted, but nevertheless, he still ends up doing questions and only trying to the fact that they're being tranquilized, he's not actually killing them. Arguably, Dragon seems to have a very young sense of justice here, since arguably he's probably listened to his father Garp and joined the Marines, which eventually that ends up being the case, much to Garp's dismay from what we saw when he was complaining to Aokiji about it. But anyway, it's quite cool to see let's see how it's interesting to see how the God Valley sort of set up. They have basically the Marines coming in, capturing all of like the people in the populace, if you will, and those that resist arrest, if you will, get tranquilized and also seemingly gassed, which you gotta wonder what the Marines exactly have been told here, because surely they'll like figure out, okay, this is some sort of genocide game or something, or do they know but just don't care, or do they think that these people must be evil, otherwise why would the Celestial Dragons take them out, if you will? But Dragon, of course, is the one person that questions it, and as a result, that questioning will lead to like rebellion against the world government and with the formation of the Revolutionary Army. So I do like that we actually got to see the thing play out. I also like how he looks kind of like Luffy in Gear Force, showing that he does have some similarities with Luffy, but perhaps more when Luffy's more serious and angry, if you will. So I'm looking forward to seeing their meeting next time and how Luffy reacts to the fact that Dragon was from God Valley and all that stuff. So yeah. In a second, I'm just checking. But yeah, Anyway, I do like how we also end up seeing what the transport ships are for like moving like all the slaves, and the fact that we end up seeing the young trio for that escaped God Valley of Kuma, Ivanka, and Junie again, and actually seeing their plans, but also learning that they leaked the intel to Big News Morgans, which is a bit ironic since Ivanka absolutely hates Big News Morgans, thinks that he's full of a bunch of lies and all that stuff, but Big News Morgans, of course, doesn't care for the scoop. But who knows? It'd be very funny to actually get to see an interactions between Big News and Ivankov and how they will dish that out. But I do like how we see that this is just basically I'm surprised he still had his devil fruit at this point, but okay. But I'm surprised that we end up learning that not only has he been giving intel to like government, but he's also double crossing them and trying to do like the whole bowling alley sort of thing. Of course, we know that doesn't really work out long term, and it eventually seems to work in Buggy's favor for being a Yonko. But well, who knows? We'll have to wait and see in that regards. But I do like to sort of like threaten with blackmail, but still leak the intel anyway, just for a good news story. Showing that Big News Morgans is always one of the most morally great characters of like do anything to get a scoop, even telling the truth sometimes, but will paint you as the bad guy in a few short seconds if it benefits him. Anyway, I do like how the Rocks pirates immediately realize that, okay, once they get the intel where Shaki is, and then go to try and save her. Same with the Roger pirates, if you will. So that's nice, but I do like how eventually, of course, we get to like reminding that, of course, this is like the Giants flashback, so we got a bit of Giants. Well, I mean, one thing about this one panel, I thought that this looked like Roger ripping the newspaper rather than Garp. But yeah. On a second. We get Rox and Garland seemingly encounter each other for like the last time and all that stuff. Both are prepared to fight each other, especially when there's a government ship there, with Howard saying that he needs to sink the ship in order to prove his loyalty, with Rox saying that you're being blind and foolish, trusting government on matters such as this. And we end up getting the shocking, of course, revelation that Rox's real name is Davy D. Sebek, and that his ancestor, Davy Jones, was also a D. So, The pirate bloodline and its ancestry is going to become a lot more complicated than any of us have thought. So, I do like how, you do have the conversation between these two, and Rox reveals that the details of this decline with him and the fact that he's actually Davy D. Sebek, but also let's see, to make sure that they'd be safe, which is none other than his daughter and former ex-wife. So made the deal and all that stuff, and here we are. But I do like how Rox's character here is like saying that, let's see, I'm prepared for whatever has happened to me. I don't care what happens to me or anyone else. I'm going to make sure that my wife and child are safe, showing that Rox at the very least does have some sense of camaraderie and care for like former crewmates compared to Blackbeard. So that's one difference, despite being, let's see, a manga for young kids, if you will. I think that was the description, but yeah. I've forgotten where I was for a second. Oh yes, talking about let's see, Hal and Rox, and okay, hold on. What was it? Hold on, give me a sec. This maybe someone from the comments might. Nope, no one from the comments to help me in this part, but yeah, I do like how, Rox is feeling that he's a descendant of Davy, so that means basically Blackbeard is Davy, and turns out there's an entire clan of Davies, and that they've been hiding from the world government because if they were discovered, they'd be hunted down. And I do like how you seem to like Howard surprised with this until like the revelation at Scarlet Valley, and arguably this makes all of Rox's actions make more sense. He's not doing it for some Helen and Troy moment, at least not for the tradition itself, but he's here to rescue his wife and child and basically make sure that they survive, even though he thinks his Rockland's out. I do like how he tries to plead with Howard one more time to let's see, help him, but Howard seemingly remains too stubborn, attacks him, and they do their like one more clash. Granted, for all we know, this could be just Amelia Rouge and cover him up, so I think you get number one sending number three with someone else for that information if you go for like Kids Next Door stuff, but might be losing track there. But thinking of the Kids Next Door, One Piece review. Where was I? Oh yes. Yeah, they've got Rox and Howard clashing, but I wouldn't be surprised if perhaps Howard is allowing Rox to get the upper hand and damage him just so that he can go and rescue his wife and child, and that leaves them on somewhat good terms again, but who knows? I could just be imagining what, let's see, they're going to do, and it could be that they fight a bit before Rox goes there, but I think in the end, Oda is going to have people not get in the way of Rox's goal to save his family if they learn the context of it. I think that's just not the type of writer Oda does, so yeah. But anyway, the naval competition, the human hunting competition is truly despicable. We're learning a bit more details about it, and the fact that not only do they do this every 3 years, they usually find islands with rich resources and not part of the world government just to try and have some fun and entertainment, despite the expense of the people living that's going to be shot as a result of this. So yeah, I do wonder if eventually God Valley will come to light, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see in that regards. But yeah, but now the place is gone, and arguably just because the world nobles want to hunt the Davy clan, which and also of course have Shaki as the prize, if you will. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is that it's interesting to see Kaido and Big Mom talk about devil fruits, because we know that she helped Kaido get his. But I do wonder if she perhaps regrets not giving one of her children that devil fruit, because that would make them real strong, unless she's feared of someone backstabbing her. But who knows in that regard. So yeah. So yeah, it's nice to see that Shaki's been taken care of. Granted, she's really being like the Helen of Troy of damsel in distress situation, which I will admit May not be always the best thing to do, but at least Shaki has a bit of a character going with her. I don't expect this to be a long conflict. So, yeah. And also the other thing of, what was the other thing of note? What else I was going to say? I'm starting to get tired. I apologize, people. So, yes, we actually also get to see, let's see, the younger versions of the Gods Knights, including Somers and Gunko, she seems to be the same age, and also seems to be added to the Manmar family this time, thinking they could win a few prizes. Somers, of course, just wants to make, let's see, Shaki a slave, and Roger seemingly wants to be the one that has the official. Well, King Bowser wants the official recognition, but that's probably never going to happen. But yeah. So yeah, learning more about the Guard Valley competition. Maybe a few retcons, but learning more and more about the cruelty of them and all that stuff. And also seeing that, and the most surprising thing besides is the fact that we end up seeing Dragon, meeting Shanks' mom and told to rescue her children before they become villains and all that, before they get in the clutches of Garland. Showing just how she wants to, despite everything that's happened, she still wants to protect her children, even though their father turned out to be a horrible person. But she wants to make sure they don't end up like him, which arguably, if we go by the flashbacks, Dragon's only successful to one of those cases, as the rest end up either being died or just not being important to the story. But Jaws films, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I think, yeah. So, but Dragon is basically. So I did watch the 50th anniversary of Jaws, so I might have lost track there. But anyway, where was I? Oh yes, but basically, Dragon ends up meeting Shanks' mother, and then learns the kids are in trouble, so he goes to rescue them. And arguably, this is probably what gets him in conflict with Garland, which arguably is a good way to set up the, Dragon versus Garland conflict if Oda's doing that. Granted, it's very likely that since now Dragon has helped save the pirate Luffy and Myers most, that might lead to some interaction between them down the line, and also maybe give more hints of what these two might play as a role in the final war. But also, nice to see. It's going to be also possible that you get a Dragon and Shanks team up against the Garlands. So, yeah, who knows? Anything is possible, but we'll have to wait and see what Oda does. But nevertheless, I do like how he's been using most of these characters in the flashback for the most part. So, yeah. And also the fact that we end up learning that we get to see young let me find it. A young Blackbeard, just a few years old, and he's just about to lose everything. So, yeah, his entire village destroyed, his entire country destroyed, his people. The only survivor left, and arguably you cannot necessarily blame her for being a demon child afterwards, but preserved. I might be saying the name incorrectly, and eventually finding, of course, the Straw Hats, and eventually they're going to reveal the truth to the world, including what happened to Blackbeard. Well, probably going to be some sympathizing him. They'll be like, Stu, he's the mass criminal that caused so much death and destruction. So you've got that. But, yeah. Hold on. But basically, this is basically the origin of Marshall Tech. He lost his homeland, probably his mother, and his father now wants to revenge and destroying the world and build it in his own image. So, yeah, good thing for that. But one thing that's also noted is the fact that in God Valley, we learned that the reason why people have been hunting them is because, well, they apparently have let's see, they're part of the DNA names, but also suppose they're part of the David clan, which seems to be a very infamous pirate group, and want them eliminated, but even for holding for a high price. Of course, none of them, as far as I'm aware, has been successful, but who knows? We have to wait and see. But the warlords are now disbanded, so we'll probably never see that now. So yeah. It is interesting the fact that also people talking about, let's see, the other 13 rabbits and whether or not Puma might have had some siblings, be it Ivankov, Buggy, which would be kind of funny and cool, but I can see how some people might be against it. But yeah. Overall, I'd probably give this chapter rating a 9.5 out of 10. Oops, we've got Sassy saying, keep up, man, I'm listening. I'm going like, why did Dragon only give Shanks away and not Shamrock? Any explanation for that? Well, if I had to guess, let's see, Dragon did try to save both of them, but either ran into Garland and then ended up, as a result of the skirmishes or something, ended up losing Shamrock, either thinking that he's dead or thinking like, okay, at least save one child. Does see the match effort to save number 5 as much as possible. But yeah. But I'm sure Dragon. But yeah, Pixar and Dragon probably did try to save both, but only could save Shanks. And eventually, they'll probably cross paths again, arguably with Luffy being the sort of key figure that unites these two in so many ways. But yeah, so we've got that, and okay, Sassy going like, okay, thanks, man, no problem. But yeah. Anyway, overall thoughts. Seeing how, let's see, Shaki was kidnapped, causing the Helen Troy incident for One Piece, the death of like a few crew members, let's see, and can't remember now. We got to see like the full-on cruelty of Garland, and also let's see the revelations that Rox is from the Davy D clan, which shows that it's a much more significant family. Which I think many people are theorizing that maybe Buggy or even Easter Kid could be from these from this particular D clan of Davy, given some like choices that Oda has made. But I'm not going to go into those details here. But yeah, overall 9.5. I think it's doing a good job, especially with some of the anime, some filler scenes for context. I think that worked quite well for the most part. So yeah. Overall, I give it, let's see, a 9.5. For those who ended up commenting, let's see, for this chapter, like talking about like Dragon's devil fruit and all that stuff, and we actually get to see his origins, such as Power to 99 and Sassy. Thank you for your comments. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say in this review, and I'll probably see you all next time when arguably we're a lot less tired and I can have more chance of reviewing. But for now, I am Blue Star Saber signing off. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye. Chat later.